You know the feeling. The world goes quiet. You lose track of time. You look at the clock and 3 hours have passed in what felt like 20 minutes. You aren't thinking about the work, you are just doing it. The code is writing itself. The essay is pouring out. You feel capable, powerful, and completely locked in. That is flow state. Most people treat flow like a random accident. They sit down and hope lightning strikes. Sometimes it does, usually it doesn't. They spend most of their lives in a state of low-grade distraction, constantly switching tabs, fighting brain fog, and producing mediocre work. The elite, fighter pilots, surgeons, top-tier programmers do not wait for lightning. They have a lightning rod. They can trigger this state on command. To do this, you first need to understand what is happening biologically. In flow, your brain does not speed up, it slows down. Specifically, it deactivates the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain responsible for self-monitoring. It is your inner critic. It is the voice that says, am I doing this right? Or, what will people think? Or, I'm hungry. When you enter flow, that voice goes silent. This is called transient hypofrontality. When the critic shuts up, your processing power is reallocated to pure pattern recognition and reaction. You become a machine. So, how do you manually shut down the prefrontal cortex? You follow the sniper protocol. Phase 1. The sterilization, sensory deprivation. You cannot enter flow if your brain is scanning for threats. A notification is a threat. A conversation in the hallway is a threat. A sniper does not take a shot while checking Instagram. You must sterilize your environment. Phone in another room or airplane mode. Browser tabs closed. Only the tool you are using is open. Noise cancelling headphones. You are creating a monotasking container. If there is any external input, the prefrontal cortex stays online to analyze it. You need to starve it of input. Phase 2, the hard enough trigger, the 4% rule. Flow only happens in a very specific channel. If the task is too easy, you get bored. Prefrontal cortex wakes up to daydream. If the task is too hard, you get anxious. Limbic system wakes up to panic. You need the Goldilocks zone. The task must be roughly 4% harder than your current skill level. It needs to stretch you just enough that you have to pay attention to survive it, but not so much that you crash. If you are studying, don't just read too easy. Don't try to solve a PhD equation too hard. Try to solve a problem that you get wrong on the first try, but understand on the second. The tension, that slight struggle, is the trigger. It forces the brain to dump dopamine and norepinephrine to close the gap. Phase 3. The clear objective. You cannot flow into working. That is too vague. Flow requires a target. A sniper doesn't look at a landscape. They look at a coordinate. Before you start, define the micro goal. Not write the essay. Yes, write the introductory paragraph and the thesis statement. The brain needs to know exactly what success looks like so it can tighten the feedback loop. Immediate feedback is a core driver of flow. You need to know instantly if you are winning or losing. Phase 4. The struggle phase. The trap. This is where 99% of people fail. They sit down, they sterilize the room, they pick the task, and it feels awful. It feels agitated. They can't focus. So they quit and check their phone. They don't understand the cycle. Flow always follows a period of agitation called the struggle phase. This is your brain loading the chemicals. Norepinephrine, stress is rising. It feels like anxiety. It feels like, I can't do this. You must hold the line. This phase usually lasts 15 to 20 minutes. You have to push through the agitation without switching tasks. If you check your phone now, you dump the chemicals and start over at zero. But if you stay in the tension, if you keep wrestling with the problem, the brain eventually says, okay, we need more power. Snap. It releases dopamine and endorphins. The pain vanishes. The inner critic shuts off. You slide into the tunnel. The exit strategy. Once you are in flow, protect it with your life. Do not break the seal. A single interruption can knock you out of the state, and it takes 20 minutes to get back in. Ride the wave until it crashes. When you feel the focus fading, stop. Do not grind. Flow is expensive chemically. You need to recover. Stop treating focus like a personality trait. It is a biological payload. Sterilize the room, pick a hard target, endure the struggle. That is how you turn a human brain into a supercomputer. If you want to master the operating system of your mind, subscribe to BrainOS. The update is ready.